Thank you so much for that beautiful solo, Annalise. Where Can I Go is a scripture title, and you might even think about that if you're searching online. We are in a very unusual time in the history of the church, and at the same time, we're at a place we've been before. Because we're dealing with new technologies and situations outside of our control, this should be familiar territory. And so we're trying to start some responses here at First Met that are creative, innovative, and encouraging hospitality. We're not alone in this, are we? All the churches hit by the pandemic, all the service clubs, universities, schools are trying the same thing. What is the best way to stay in relationship? That's our question. The scriptures remind us that our relationship with God is deeper than any communication technique, any technology, deeper even than words. Before we were born, we were totally accepted and loved by God. That's a very important reminder. It gives us courage to try new things. You know, when you try something, it can go spectacularly well, or we can have challenges as well during that finding new ways to walk. And so we're starting something new here, trusting in the sacred spirit that we'll have opportunities to evaluate and judge how we're doing, and times to encourage and support and cheer on the new thing. Here we are, still in COVID worship. Not many of us here this morning. Many people watch online. Some are here in Victoria, in British Columbia. Some even watch on Sunday morning. And when they do, when they tune in, they might yet say to each other and to themselves, "Oh, how I wish I could say something. I wish I could talk to somebody." Some sense of community. Well, of course, other churches have had that too. People have wanted to communicate. And although it's not the same as having coffee together in our crowded fellowship hall after church or having soup, remember those days? We're having a new option, which is to have one person, Jody, at church online every Sunday to talk to you in the chat box. We know it's not the same, but if you're watching on a Sunday morning from somewhere else, it's fabulous. And if you're watching from Victoria, you can actually chat with other people. And with Jody being there, creating a reliable presence, we're trusting the Sacred Spirit to help us develop another community. We've been reading some work by Professor Heidi Campbell, who says every church has more than one congregation. Traditionally, we've had the chapel congregation early on a Sunday morning. But for the entire time of the pandemic, they've been a Zoom gathering. That's a totally different way of being church. Other churches have had other experiences with Facebook, which we haven't tried for worship. We're in our technology that we've been using for a long time, and we're glad to be trying something new with it. And so Dr. Campbell's question was that how are they doing it? And she's put together responses from churches and pastors and priests and leaders from all over the world. We're doing it differently, but we're trying new things. So we're part of that gang of people trying new things. Churches investigating and investing in new ways of being community. So Jody's going to share with us some of her dreams as we begin this experiment. We're initially targeting about 6 months to target to see how we do. So Jody's going to share some of her dreams and thoughts and plans and questions, because it isn't a blueprint. It is an investigation. It is an adventure, a new part of our journey, and we're very grateful to be walking it together with her.
Thanks, Sheila. Hi, everyone. As Sheila said, we are looking into creating an online church community for our congregation. It's definitely going to be trial and error, but the next 6 months, we're going to be working through this. As Joan said earlier, I'm hoping to discern ordination. So I really appreciate the people here asking me to help out with this, as I'm very excited about it. So I just want to answer some questions, kind of share a bit of details about what this community is going to look like. So the first kind of question you might ask is, what difference is this online community going to make? And I think it's going to make a huge difference. Firstly, there's going to be more of an ability to connect with people. I know it's been really hard to connect with people attending church virtually and everything this past 2 years. So hopefully with this new format of online and me being there, you'll be able to meet new people that you might not have talked to before, be able to share the community from the comfort of your own living room. And to create a sense of community that is found in person, to create that online. As we know, this is our new normal, and we could go back to the old ways, but sometimes the old ways weren't working. Like, as we know, the churches the past many decades have been in decline, and so finding this new normal gives us the ability to kind of figure it out, find new ways to be a church. So the Pacific Mountain Leadership Series identified 5 congregations that churches will have in the future, and this includes an online congregation. So who is this kind of program aimed for? Well, it's aimed for everyone, really. So it's for both people attending online and in person, to be able to connect in a new way. It also gives the opportunities to create a community without having to be in Victoria. So people in Australia and like Europe and across Canada can come and be a church with us, which is super cool. And also people who just want to do church in their PJs at home. I love doing that. So it gives the opportunities for everyone to be a part of our congregation. How is this part of the evolution of ministry and church evolving in the 21st century? So with all of the new technology that we've had, it kind of has helped us create a new church. The new generation, especially my generation, Gen Z, loves doing things online, very technologically forward. And I think it's a great way to kind of show the new generation, like, this is a new way of doing church, like, come, like, see. It's not just sitting and listening every Sunday morning. Being church is a way of being. It's part of a community. It's the people. It's being Christ-like. That's what church is. And I think being able to explore that is a great way to help the new generation. So some other churches have also been doing this. So for example, Highland Church with Reverend Andrea Irwin and Weird Church, an online community with Reverend Ingrid Brown, are already doing this, and it seems to be working for them. So we're hoping to follow in their footsteps. That doesn't mean that in-person is not important. In-person is still a great way to build community, but we're hoping to supplement it. As Sheila mentioned, Heidi Campbell, a professor of communications at Texas A&M University and director of the Network New Media Region and Digital Culture, edited a report talking about this change using the slogan, "The church isn't empty, the church has been deployed." We've been talking about this a lot lately, of that we are not gone from the church, we are church, and we are now out in the community. So in her report titled "Distant Church: Reflections on Doing Church Online," a series of contributors from around the world address the challenges and opportunities of online congregations. And so I would highly encourage anyone interested to read that. So what is the value added of this program? So it's just building a community in ways that we couldn't before, trying out new activities. As I said before, it's going to be a lot of trial and error. We're going to be trying things, and obviously, if any of you have any suggestions of things that you want to see in our community, that's more than welcome. So some ideas that we have kind of mulling about in our heads is the informal chat sessions during the live stream, which I'll be leading, and also inviting participants in the live stream to identify prayer requests, and I can pass these on to the lead minister and prayer connections team. and to encourage people to participate in virtual communion. Some other things that we have thought about is organizing virtual coffee hours, more of those, leading discussion series around themes of Sunday worship or of different books, such as the one by Heidi Campbell, a private Facebook group for online congregants who could use posts such as daily prayers, conversations about the sermon, etc., and providing support and connections to one another. And as I said, we are always open to congregation suggestions. And how to contact me, my email is online at firstmetvictoria.com. So if you have any questions or want to talk more about this project, please email me. I would love to talk and get to meet all of you. Thank you.
So as Jody said, she's thinking about exploring ways of being a minister. The church is also thinking of new ways of exploring how we do ministry. It's a wonderful synergy, isn't it, to have them together here for us at First Met. I ask you to provide prayer support to this endeavor, to remember that anything new in the church, from the beginning of time when we've started using microphones. I'm old enough that I remember when Zoom described a speed, not a technology. We've changed so much so quickly. Pray for and support, I ask you, this new project, that people at home, yearning for community, will experience with us the wonderful gift of following the footsteps of Jesus, the one who holds our lives. Remember also Jody and all those exploring and thinking about being ministers in a very different world that is unfolding around us. It is exciting, encouraging, and also a little intimidating to look at the future. With their leadership, we know that much still could be achieved. God's blessing on them. I ask you to remember them in your prayers. Thank you.